everyone, welcome back. I am here with Cold after the second win of the week. You must be feeling pretty good about this. I mean, third win in a row. Does it mean it's back for playoff for you guys?
At the start of the split, our goal was to reach playoffs, and even though we have a rough start, it doesn't really change. You just have to kind of catch up to the other teams, and that's what I think we are starting to do, and that's why we're starting to win. So I'm really happy about the progress and how much work people are putting in. And it's starting to show. So I'm really happy with everyone.
Yeah, it starts to show up on stage, and you've been a very decisive player through UOL's win. We saw you pick Kha'Zix today. It was the first time you picked it during the split. Did you decide to adapt your champion pool to your team's need, or was it just a pick that fits in this situation?
They picked Sejuani and then they banned two of the best tanks. And my team had a lot of faith in me playing the Kha'Zix, so that kind of pushed me to play it. It's not... in the past, I was a champion where I didn't really perform very well on, but you have to push yourself as a player to become better. And today my team trusted me, and I tried my best, and I think today was the best pick for the situation. So I'm just very happy with this.
And talking about players who push themselves, I want to talk to you about Exile, because in the podcast this week, Deficio said he was an underrated player. Why do you think it's so?
Exile is just kind of a special player. Let's put it like this. He has his moments where he will look like someone that didn't really consider what he was doing before he made the decision. But then he has moments where he just pops off and does this crazy plays, and people are like, holy moly, this guy is so insane. But he's working on finding a middle ground, and I actually really like playing with him because he also pushes me to do more in the game, where in the past I was sometimes more of a passive player, but he is maybe too much on the aggressive side, and I think it fits well to me to have a guy that pushes me to do more in the game. So even though sometimes there are some unlucky stuff happening, not gonna talk too much about yesterday, but I'm happy with how he's playing.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for joining me today, and congratulations again on your second win. And we're gonna toss it back to the AD.
Thank you very much, Law. Wonderful interview, wonderful to hear from Cold. He talked a lot about Exile. Deficio had him as an underrated player, and he wins player of the game here with 71% of the votes. You were right again.
Unofficial pentakill, and I needed this one from Exile after yesterday's performance, but as Cold said, let's not talk much more about that one and move on to this game instead, because Exile definitely showed up on his ear. The first time he wins in this champion in the LCS as well, so a lot of small achievements, I guess, for Exile.
And a 2-0 week for the Unicorns of Love. If that is not just in time for that playoff race, I don't know.
Dragging Rocket down. Very seems to be wrong with his prediction.
You wanting to call out that Rocket was in Veri's
I knew he was wrong, man. I was like, no, Veri, man. He's off.
Well, we'll track it as we go on, but as you say, let's move on to our next matchup, because on stage right now, we've got Giants and H2K. And after losing 3 games in a row, Giants, they struck back yesterday with force as they took down Vitality in a dominant win. And that is a very important momentum changer for them in that race for playoffs.
Yeah, and I had him as one of the big highlights from yesterday, because he used to get a lot of criticism for the mid-game. They always fell behind in the mid-game. Not yesterday against Vitality. Joko and Betsy together, a combination I really like. I didn't think this was going to work too well when I looked at the roster on paper, but
now you love Joko all of a sudden.
I love Joko because he's so active in the early game. He applies so much pressure against the enemy, and as long as he succeeds with 1 or 2 ganks, one of his laners will get ahead. And it was Betsy yesterday. And I think that's the style I want to see more from Giants, because Betsy has proven to be a great late-game carry for this team. So as long as Joko gets him ahead in the early game, Betsy takes over later on.
So what has changed there? Because in the beginning of the split, we also said that Joko was very active and was trying to get his laners ahead. So what did they improve on then in that department?
So one thing that changed was they used to draft only scaling. Every single lane. But yesterday, they did combine Joko's aggressive jungle style with picks like Kalista Thresh. So despite, getting some early kills before, they would then do nothing. Now they actually got early kills and then used the Kalista Thresh to get Drakes. And those Drakes then became teamfight wins, that then became snowballing. And I like that whole thing. And because Betsy also got ahead in his lane, he instantly, on Corki, got Trinity Force, and then he could also be a carry. So I think their picks towards the mid-game might favor Giants more because they have Joko, who's so active.
Looking at Joko and Betsy for Giants and looking at Selfie and Shook for their opponents, H2K. These two guys have been key in the resurgence of H2K. They went 2-0 when Shook joined last week. Sadly for them, yesterday they lost versus Fnatic, but that is a very tough opponent. The Shook Selfie effect is definitely still there.
It's 100% still there. It's been a key thing for H2K when it comes to winning the early game. So my throat almost gives up right there for a moment. But the fact that H2K can rely on these guys to do well early on actually then allows someone like Sheriff, the AD carry, to do well late game, as we saw a bit from him yesterday. Yeah, enable him. You know, don't put all the pressure on him early. It's about Shook and Selfie, two veterans, of course, in the mid and jungle. And it's going to be fun with this matchup because I feel both teams probably going to win or lose this game through who actually controls mid.
So then you have to call it. Who has the stronger mid jungle duo?
I think it's so close between them. I give this to H2K, not necessarily because I think Shook and Selfie are stronger than Joko Betsy, but because I think then the rest of the players are better for H2K's side. I like Sheriff a lot in the late game, and I think that's going to be the way to win after Shook and Selfie is done well early.
So you say H2K can win this game. You have a lot of faith in that duo. You have a lot of faith in the rookie AD carry. Yet you didn't put them in your playoff prediction yesterday. Why is that?
Well, I didn't put H2K in it?
Yeah.
Ooh, I think them still being down a few wins is going to hurt them because I can see them beat like Giants, but I think some of the top teams will beat H2K like we saw Fnatic do yesterday. And I think they might just be too far behind in wins to still make top 6.
Well, regardless, crucial match for both Giants and H2K in that race to the playoffs. H2K definitely need a win to get closer to the teams above them. Let's see if they can pull it off as we leave it to Dracos and Verius to get us into game.
Thank you very much, Shocks. I love Deficio, right? Because he's waffling. He's like, why aren't H2K
he's
couple wins?
Not as confident as
not as smart as people who might have put in Giants in their playoff predictions. Well, we're going to see who the smarter one is as we get into this game. Let's start by looking at the lineups. H2K are going to be fighting from the blue side. Now, this is a team where we pretty much talk about two people, and that is Shook and Selfie. You heard the AD talk about it as well.
But you've got to give an honorable mention to Sheriff after his performance yesterday. He was a really solid AD carry in the fight versus Fnatic. I loved his positioning. I love his ability to consistently output damage. And I'm excited to see him go up against a bit of a veteran in Steelback over on the other side with Giants.
Yeah, and Giants. This is a team that I think has surprised us, has disappointed us, has showed us great games and bad games, and we never know what style of Giants we're going to see. But Ruin, Joko, Betsy, the top side of the map for this team has looked so good.
They certainly have. Ruin, he struggled during the laning phase yesterday, but once he got out of it, he really did turn his things. I have no idea what I'm saying.
Turn his stuff up to 11.
Exactly. 11 is where he was at yesterday, and I'm hoping he can have the same kind of performance today, and we'll see whether or not Joko looks to invest that same kind of pressure into mid, or if he pivots and goes more towards what they did earlier in the split, which is set up Ruin for success.
All right, now, Verius, I want to know from you what kind of draft strategy you would take if you're either one of these teams, because there's so many teams where it's, say, have like a clear single carry, one standout player that you draft around. It's hard for me to say where H2K and Giants stand on that.
Get rid of that champion. I think it's really strong right now. I feel like you can't afford to let it through. And any team that seems to pick it up, they've always got that late game insurance. So I think you need to take it off the board. And unfortunately for Giants, I feel like they need to be the ones to take it away. Like the respect being shown towards Selfie, though, very uncommon ban in the Talia coming out, at least in Europe here from Giants.
Oh, and there you see hand warmers on Joko's eyes. That can't be sanitary, but he's warming up. God, that was awful. I did not mean for that to be a terrible pun. He's getting ready. Tristana has been banned, though, as kind of predicted. Neither side going to get the opportunity to play the hyper carry. And we did hear from Selfie in an interview that he felt like his smaller champion pool might be a weakness. So maybe that's what Giants are trying to target out?
Perhaps. But Tristana will be taken away. Skarner also going to be taken off the board. After watching North America last week, I feel like a lot of the European teams are just like, wait, why are they first picking Skarner all the time? Oh, apparently he's really strong with Predator now. We should probably not let anyone have it, especially after Brox's performance yesterday. Very speedy Scorpion.
Yeah, you only need to see a Skarner run at you once with Predator and Righteous Glory before you go, yeah, that's not fun. Let's never do that ever again.
Exactly that. Now, you're looking at a lot of junglers still up and available. Perhaps Giants look to ban away the Azir, take that out of Selfie, but I feel like Zoe would be a safer ban, given that Selfie's shown more confidence and comfort on the obnoxious mid lane.
Oh, there she is. Something, quarter second. Now, however, Corki is left up and available.
Wow, early priority on the Corki.
Kind of surprising, honestly,
Yes.
to see it so early. Usually it's picked very late into the draft.
Often used as a counter pick because there are many counters to Corki itself, Kassadin being one of the big ones. And I feel like Betsy's the kind of player that would not be afraid to bring the Kassadin out. It is a bit of a losing matchup early on in terms of wave clear. So will Giants go towards this late game style that they've done in the past? Or will they look to something a little bit more proactive in the early game? Will they look to pick up the Rise, the Azir themselves and just say, you know what, but this may not be the best matchup, but we're happy playing into Selfie's Corki?
Interesting as well, because from what I can see, doesn't look like he played it much in Season 7 either, so potentially a new pick for Selfie, expanding that champion pool as promised. Ruin, though, getting the Gangplank. Joko getting the Zac. Now, what we saw from Jankos yesterday and what we've seen from Joko in weeks past is that when you are playing well on Zac, this champion can gank anything at any time, can start fights under any conditions, and honestly just looks so powerful.
I really think it's one of Joko's better performing junglers as well. I very much enjoyed seeing him on it. 3 games so far, and the natural answer will be the Sejuani. Makes a lot of sense. The big pick we failed to talk about, though, is the Camille. She was left through the draft, very commonly banned away, but really considered one of the best top laners in the current meta. Very few answers for her aside from champions like the Gnar, but given that you've already seen the Gangplank locked in, Smitty J is more than happy to take this winning matchup.
And interesting, H2K continue to put Smitty J really on these 1-3-1 style carry top champions. We know that is his style from back in the day. Big Jax player. See how he does up against Ruin, who, as you mentioned, was struggling in the laning phase yesterday despite ending the game quite well. So maybe it'll be good. However, Kalista has now been locked in to round out the first pick phase for Giants.
Now, Giants could look to ban away things like the Varus and the Xayah, really limit that AD carry pool. Caitlyn, also another one, really should have expected that given that Sheriff did have a great Caitlyn game yesterday. And I think the Giants just want to try and build up a bit of a laning advantage down towards the bot lane as a lane with which they could look to play through. So pivot away from playing through Ruin, maybe even pivot away through playing through Betsy, depending on what he chooses in the mid lane matchup, and kind of set up this bot lane, Steelback and Targamas, for success and being the big carries in this game.
And I want to see what they can do this time around. The Steelback has been an interesting one to watch. He had a really good first couple of weeks, has been kind of up and down since then. Wonder what he's going to get his hands on, or rather has the Kalista. Wonder what support they're going to pair it with. A lot of the options have been taken away. Interesting enough, Giants are going to be the ones to ban Alistar themselves despite having the Kalista-Alistar combo. But to be fair, really good matchup into Kalista as well. So
okay.
They don't want to take it.
I think one of the big reasons why they've done it is because they actually want to go for the Kalista-Rakan combo. It's a combo that we saw quite a lot when Kalista was considered really strong in the meta and Rakan was considered one of the best supports. And I think that by banning away the Alistar, he's considered one of the answers to that Rakan. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that locked in here for Giants.
And I really like the strat. There's a lot of playing around counter picks. They've taken the Kassadin away as well. Back when Corki was first to think, Kassadin was kind of the revolutionary counter pick. Turns out when a champion only does magic damage, having a natural resistance to it is pretty strong. But it is going to be the Taric actually paired. Not necessarily the strongest thing we've seen with Kalista, but Vedius, we've talked about Taric Zac a lot.
Yeah, I really love that duo. I think you could also use Taric as an engage. Like, if you prep the stun in advance, you then get thrown out, and then boom, you've got an instant engage follow-up from the Taric and Kalista down in the bottom lane. The 2v2 may not be as powerful, and it will give H2K the freedom to lock in their Xayah Rakan themselves, so they have a decent amount of pressure of their own, and I think this sets us up for quite an exciting bot lane 2 versus 2. I feel like we're going to see a lot of whoever gets the lane first is going to be a big deal. That early level 2 is going to be a big factor. But when you look at the all-in, I kind of have to give the edge over to H2K.
It is incredibly strong, especially before Taric gets a tier and can heal up, before he gets the ultimate. It is very hard to survive that upfront engage from the side of H2K. What is Betsy going to take here is the final question. How does he answer this Corki pick? Zir looks like it will be the option. So they do now have 2 late game scaling threats, the Gangplank, the Azir, paired together. But Vedius, I feel like once again we're seeing this one team who wants to scale, one team who wants maybe a bit more of a 1-3-1, some early advantages.
Yep. I mean, H2K drafted what was effectively the same comp as we just saw coming out from Roccat. And we saw that when you got to those late game fights, it can be very challenging to execute this composition. It's important that you get an early lead so that you can have pressure on the side lanes and force Giants to split apart. especially in Azir, who can't do that well off on a side lane. Whereas Giants, they just want to stall, they just want to buy time. But given Joko's track record, he's not really the kind of jungler that likes to spend the early game not doing anything.
And to be fair, if he's looking for a lane to gank, he has a Kalista on the bottom side. There's a Camille who is definitely going to be looking to shove in that GP, take him out early on. There's going to be blood in this game, Vedius. That is one thing I'm pretty confident in.
And I feel like the bot lane will be the main lane to focus on during the laning phase. Ruin will get pushed in up towards the top side of the map. Betsy may very well struggle in mid, but both Azir and Corki do have a lot of wave clear, so it's going to be a lot of back and forth. And the emphasis is, as always with these two teams, going to be on the junglers. How much early pressure do they successfully output? How well do they set up their carries to perform then later on in these crucial fights in the mid to late game?
Vedius, I'm ready. Our audience, Irish and other Europeans alike, ready to go. H2K versus Giants. We've seen Unicorns of Love rise up through the standings. 4 wins now under their belt. Can H2K do the same today?
It's like the vocal crowd is in favor of Giants this time around. Had some great Roccat chants last time. It seems like they've come prepared with a variety of different support. Very much looking forward to our match of the week later on, G2 versus Fnatic. I know we often have a lot of Fnatic fans in the audience, and I wonder if the Irish bunch will choose to...
I mean, Fnatic fans, great, but how many Betsy fans do we have? That's the real question.
Well, we shall find out as the game progresses, so don't expect anything too exciting in terms of the early game. We talked a lot about the bot lane being the primary focus for these two teams. I guess it's a bit of an opportunity to talk a little bit about this Kalista Taric into Xayah Rakan. I feel like getting the early levels is going to be crucial. So we've got to check as to who is able to get to lane first, and we'll begin that early push. Now, one of the advantages that Targamas will have is the fact that he is going for the Relic Shield. You have that extra bit of wave clear available to you, and Steelback and Targamas aren't even helping their jungler push, so they will have priority over the lane. They will be able to get that early level 2, and being able to gain that early control against the Xayah Rakan duo is definitely very effective down in the bottom.
And it feels to me that it's like snowballing is just such a big factor here, because if Taric can get a free tier early on, they just will not die in that laning phase. But if Xayah and Rakan get ahead and can suddenly all in 100-0 someone before the Taric ulti can come through, this lane phase is just over. Lot of pressure on both of these bottom lanes, and not necessarily the players we normally talk about when we look at these two lineups, especially since Shook has joined H2K.
Yeah, Shook and Joko, two of the big jungle focus that provides a lot of action for their team. Sorry, I'm seeing the early level 2 about to come out, and I'm like, will we see
I understand.
Kind of early action?
The jungle can wait. They're going to farm. That's what they do. But level 2, someone might die. Promisecue got level 2 ahead of Sheriff.
Oh yeah, that's quite interesting actually.
Maybe not standing in a key range. Targamas going to connect the stun. Promisecue does leave right back. Targamas going to take a lot of damage. Steelback does trade back in kind, however. Good healing in Taric's kit means that this might be a Fooly trade, but should be okay for him.
I like the trade there from the Giants duo. Things going pretty well for them, having that pressure down in the 2 versus 2. Now we can talk a little bit more about the junglers. Looking at the route that Joko decided to take, he actually went Wolves into Raptors into red, I do believe. Now he's made his way back towards blue, and this to me suggests that he is looking for an early gank down towards the bot side. By pathing this way, he is preemptively being able to get river control by securing the Scuttle Crab, and he could either come through the lane and look for a gank, or he could just take one of the many creative paths that Zach often has.
Yeah, looks like he's trying to play around the mid.
They did just ping the ward out, so he's very aware. He's like, okay, I won't bother. I'm just going to secure the Scuttle Crab for now. Shook took a little bit more of a standard path where he started bot side, went up, cleared his whole top side, and now he'll go back, pick up his Stracker's Knife. So nothing too crazy for him so far.
And now Joker's taking advantage of the pressure in the mid lane as bot lane tries to find an engage. Good engage on the Steelback does mean they're going to have to back off. Now trying to fire back onto Sheriff. No engage follow-up options available. They've already used the Ignite, the flash forward. No hesitation. Here comes Zach as well. Giants are looking for the kill. They're going to get the first blood. Promisecue might go down as well. Oh, the aggression gets him. Oh, Oh, look at the auto double drops for a steal back.
Great start for Giants, and it's steal back that gets these advantages. Shut down in the bottom lane. Very quick pickup for Giants, and let's see how this plays out. Promiscu goes to the all-in. He doesn't respect the re-engage from Targamas. They land the stun onto Sheriff, and he is who they focus down. Very quick ignite to apply the grievous wounds. He doesn't get the full output from the heal, and this just shows you the early power of Kalista. If she's free to get those Ren stacks, they are crucial in securing all the early game damage, and Steelback rounds things out by landing a long-range order.
And while we're running that replay, Selfie has paused the game. We'll keep you guys updated on the cause as to why.
But what a great way to start.
Yeah. It's good we have a break now to talk about exactly what just happened, because H2K got destroyed right there.
Yes.
And we already talked about this being a snowbally lane matchup. This seems very, very bad. That the scaling team with the Azir and the GP now also have a winning early game bottom lane. That seems pretty disastrous. Told you they were both bets. Betsy, will you be my mid? That is the question the audience wants to know. Apparently we are ready now to get back into game.
Oh man, the Irish, gotta love them.
I like how it's the Irish, not these wonderful group of people here.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Whenever you go on a night out with the Irish, you're always guaranteed a fun time.
Selfie had to adjust his monitor, has adjusted his monitor. We are now good. We are now getting back into game. Unfortunately for H2K, they did still die in the bottom lane.
Right, I'm going to focus in on the game now. They've distracted me enough. So, you asked me a question. How bad is this?
Yeah, how bad? This seems bad.
It is. Yes, you are correct. It is very bad. But this was Giants' whole game plan. That could have gone horribly wrong. And if that was the case, then you look at this like scaling option and you're sitting there thinking to yourself, Kalista kind of falls off in the late game. She kind of gets locked down in terms of mobility against things like the Camille, and because Sheriff is going to go for this full crit build, you imagine that in the later game, she's going to have more damage output. So getting this early lead was very important in the bottom side for Giants. We saw Joko path towards there, and he was ready to set that up, but they already did it themselves in the 2 versus 2, and it was just a great punishment of Sheriff and Promiscu, not really recognizing their limits. And now Joko, I was going to say what a surprise is in the mid again, but obviously Corki can be rather challenging again.
And Betty, so checking in on gold as we went through, and if observers, if we could swap to gold totals right now. I was worried about top lane because you can see the absolutely massive CS differential between Ruin and Smitty J. But see that Keystone, that's called kleptomancy.
Yep.
And it has ruined any kind of laning advantage you could ever get against a GP. They are still even in gold, Betty. So everything seems to be going exactly the way the Giants want.
It looks like he's also doing the Relic Shield gangplank top. Oh, Shook, hang on a minute.
Getting aggressive.
Wow, nice steal there.
He's going to get a CS lead, even if everyone else is not. Shook will get one.
So yeah, sorry, Shook did some cool stuff. Good job, Shook. Maybe to steal away. In the top lane, you can see the Relic Shield being run on Ruin. Sometimes you'll see Gangplanks also run the Ancient Coin to help secure, basically give you a bit of extra mana sustain, but also nice gold income. Relic Shield is exactly the same. Every time you throw out your Q onto an enemy target, you can see, or even just basic attack them, you get that bit of extra gold, and it's all about generating gold, reaching that Trinity 4 spike at the same time as Smitty J, ideally, even though you're at a massive CS deficit.
Yeah, 5 gold, or rather 10 gold per proc, as he is a melee champion, does proc with the parlay. Is it procable every 5 seconds? So, very good gold income. But Vedius' top laners duke it out. I feel like it is important for us to hit the jungle one more time because we talked about which jungler is going to be better, which early game aggression is going to work out as Betsy fumbles there. And right now it is Joko. Now, despite Shook having some fantastic stats when it comes to participating in kills in the early game, getting kills and assists, Joko still making his mark in this game.
Yeah, his early game presence, Shook, has not been that impactful so far in this game, but still very early on. He is playing the Sejuani. And I imagine if he's going to look for a gank anyway, it will be towards the bot side of the map. There is a lot of ganks set up available to him. and he could look to try and get this H2K bot lane back into the game. But Joko, he's unrelenting in his pressure, and he's utilizing this strong 2 versus 2 to steal away some of the enemy camps.
Still back target, we see them coming. They are going to throw out the ultimate. They will manage to connect, and now they're looking for the re-engage. Joko is there. It's the 2v3. Not exactly what they wanted. Sheriff is trying to bring up the rear. Betsy on the way in. H2K getting collapsed on. It's all just falling apart. Joko and Betsy over the wall. They're putting the chase down onto Shook. Question is, can he make it out? Nerf on the Arctic Assault means that's going to be a long cooldown. Only 1 rank means 17 seconds. But Zach has the tools to slow him down.
He's running. Will they try to go for the execute as both Betsy and Joko continue the chase? He might actually get away with this.
Dang. There he is.
Wait,
He has the passive too. He could try to get out of... No. Ooh, Sejuani passive. Almost ruined that entire thing. Damn you, Sejuani passive. So bad at letting her kill herself.
Is able to get away. Best case scenario there for Shook. But still, another early advantage goes in the favor of Giants. You could see what H2K tried to do. They thought they could try and force a fight, but do you really want to be forcing a fight this early on against Kalista? Yes, she doesn't have a huge amount of damage, but getting very early Berserker Screes enables you to stack up that Ren faster, and really the damage output is still very, very strong. So they think here, okay, enemy team is split up, we can get a quick poke, but look, the AD carry isn't even here, he can't follow over the wall. This is a 2 versus 3, Sheriff now finally arrives, and Steelback's like, well, okay, we'll just kill your support, and then we'll go for the chase. And to make things worse, Betsy always had priority over mid. He was able to get down much faster than Selfie was, and really the decision ends up backfiring horribly for H2K.
It's a good look. And right now, I like the way the Giants are playing, and I love the fact that Steelback is getting so far ahead. This is a guy who's had a lot of criticism levied against him. I think rightfully so in a lot of weeks. You can see in the past, he was the janitor. He had multiple games where he did less than 20% of the team's damage as an 80 carry. Totally not acceptable for a competitive player, but now he's turning it around. He's 3-0. Him and Targamas are making stuff happen.
It's nice to see the focus being put more on for Steelback to step up, but look at some of the statistics. 10th in terms of damage per minute, 10th in terms of damage percentage. This guy has really not been contributing in a lot of the team fights, and the focus has fallen onto Betsy and Ruin to really compensate for his severe lack of damage. So, as you rightly said, nice to see Steelback stepping up in this game. He was kind of forced to perform when you're playing a Kalista, and so far he's doing just that.
Exactly what the team wants. Has to keep it going, though, because all the gold is on Steelback right now. He's going to help the team secure an objective. The added bonus of the Kalista is that the Ren makes it pretty easy for the guaranteed secure early to mid-game. Can't be stopped with CC, but of course, H2K not going to take the risk. We'll back off.
We've also got to remember the stakes that are on the line in this game, because if Giants can secure a win, they're actually at the same number of wins as Vitality. And Vitality have not been looking great. They've been on a bit of a downward trend, and if they were to lose today against Misfits, you just sit there and think like, wow, okay, you've now got Giants and Vitality tying up the scoreline. One of G2 and Fnatic will not get a win today. And like the top of the standings end up being much closer than you initially anticipated. If Giants can continue with this level of performance, they're looking much more confident as a playoff team.
Oh, Joko. Definitely showing a lot of confidence as a jungler in this game. Now they're going to start the siege. Shook is there, though. They're ready to engage. Targamas has the ultimate, though, so they're going to need to burst down their target if they want to get anything. Shook forced on defensive duty this game, sadly. Can't really be the proactive jungler he wants to be when he has to defend for these losing lanes. Good news is, Selfie manages to get a push out mid. Will get an item under his belt as he backs. Maybe can start to push in Betsy more, as you see the CS differential does start to grow. AJ looking for the outplay. Tactical sweep does go.
That's a good trade there
as well. Good use of the barrel from Ruin. Making it count. Steelback all on his lonesome.
1v2. Confident play there.
I mean, he has lifesteal early on, right? Maybe not the most damage, but you're not going to put a dent in that Kalista.
That is interesting. I suppose, wait, it's not surprising. He is going for the early Blade of the Ruin King. That is why he's gone for the lifesteal. He obviously picks up the early recurve bow because he wants more attack speed, and then he clearly didn't have enough gold for the Bilge Water Cutlass, so makes sense. Understand why he's got the lifesteal. Gangplank, though, decided to go for early armor boots rather than the Phage, which is what Smitty J has gone for. Wouldn't be surprising if his training force is slightly delayed as a result, but he's mainly picked that up for what has been a bit of a rough laning phase for him, but very much what you'd expect in the Camille.
And I mean, you can see he's at a massive CS deficit. He knows that probably not meant to come out on top of the 1v1, just needs to survive, just needs to scale. Has a bot lane that can make the proactive plays. He is a role player at this point in the game.
Hey guys, just in case you didn't know, by the way, G2 versus Fnatic, happening later on today. Our hypest matchup of the week.
It's exciting, man. These are the teams, Giants especially, that could potentially start to catch up if they can find a win here.
Very true.
Or H2K, who could start to push them down and look for a playoff spot of their own. Rift Herald is a good start for H2K. They're going to force the lane swap to get out of this abysmal laning phase against Targamas and Steelback, but they're still behind on the play in terms of towers took. One will drop for Giants. They're going to get the tower first blood, but Rift Herald is available for H2K. They need to put it to good use.
That is very true. Ruin still hanging around. He has to be careful of a potential dive. Look at all the vision control H2K have on the top side of the map.
Shook. Herald does not connect, luckily for Shook.
Actually, wait. Giants are still pushing down the bot side. You've also got Betsy pushing in mid. And Joko can hang around. You've got the Gangplank ultimate to wave clear. Giants are on track to securing another tower.
But the wave is actually pretty small. And the wave is still alive here. H2K are going to get their first tower. They will have Rift Herald to go for a second if they want. No jungler topside to smite it to reduce its health before it charges. It's going to be the 2-for-1 trade, though. For now, Giants have the lead. A 3K gold lead, 13 minutes in the game. Ocean backs them up as well. Everything looking good for this team. H2K, maybe a bit of a fumble here on the top side.
Yeah, good team play there from Giants, recognizing they can continue on with the push. Ruin utilizing his ultimate to slow down the push from H2K. Just having a really strong tempo advantage that they're able to use effectively. So now 2 towers to 1. I am a little curious as to why they didn't use the Rift Herald, but I'm sure they'll be saving it for a little later on. Infernal Drake going to be coming up soon, and this Giant squad, they're kind of playing exactly towards their win conditions. They invested ganks and resources towards the winning lane because the Kalista, the Gangplank and the Azir are steadily scaling up, nearing the completion of their first core item, and the Nash's 2 for Betsy and the Trinity Force for Ruin. And everything seems to be going well for Giants. And now H2K again with the 1-3-1. We talk a lot about how you kind of want early leads because if you can't generate pressure in a side lane, it becomes much harder to execute that comp and split the enemy team up. And therefore you're kind of forced into these team fights, which sure you're not weak in, but you're definitely going to get outscaled, very similarly to what we saw in the Unicorns versus Rocket game earlier in the day.
Will still come down to execution, though. We always have to talk about it. It will come down to who can actually make the team fights happen. And it's interesting too, Betty, because I think H2K had great options to play around the top side with Camille, maybe look for some early plays, but their bot lane fell too far behind too soon. Forced Shook down to the bottom side. Now the team is trying to group. They do not want to sit in any lane whatsoever. But the downside is they're going to start to lose out on a lot of these resources. 155 CS to 131. That's the bottom lane. Good news is top lane still doing quite well for Smitty J. Mid lane also just about even for Selfie, so CS at least for now doing fine.
Mainly Giants setting up for the Dragon right now. You can see a lot of wards invested towards the bot side of the map. Main goal is to secure the Infernal Drake. Definitely a big Drake that you want to get your hands on as early as possible as it scales later on into the game. Rift Herald's still available for Shook, yet to use it, but he is hanging around off in a wardless area of the map. And he may look to try and set it up in the top lane.
They want to go for the play. Giants going to be trying to be content with the Infernal Drake for now. Ward looks like it has spotted Shook out, so Giants are going to be pretty comfortable clearing this one up. Infernal, as you mentioned, was the no crit items. Happy to have additional AD, Azir as well. Now Rift Herald's going to come in, and they pretty comfortable knowing they can summon that one. GP with no CC makes it easy. We'll get a bit of damage down. GP doing what he can to clear the creep wave, but it looks like they're just going to use it for a bit of upfront damage and back immediately off. They are simply too far behind to commit resources to the top side of the map.
The fans mourning the loss of Shelly.
I mean, she's big and she's ugly, but that doesn't mean she deserves to die, Betties.
True. Oof. Wow.
Oh, she's Bae. You hear that?
He is Bae. So, Unfortunately for H2K, they're kind of struggling right now to find opportunities. They do have Shook, who has the engage opportunity available. You've also got the Rakan, who can dash in with the ulti and the W combo. But they're not really sure who to engage onto right now. I don't know if H2K would win a fight at this point, given how strong the Kalista is, already completing the Blade of the Ruin King. But if they just continue to sit and wait, Giants will just continue to take more and more control over the map. So H2K, they need to come up with some kind of plan. They need to try and force a fight soon.
I mean, they have 2 Trinity forces. They have a Camille, who did for a while have control of the top side of the map. Now they have found an engage option onto Joko. Does go unstoppable, but will be forced into his passive soon.
Oh my god! That was sick! Well played there from Joko, getting out by the skin of his teeth.
24 HP, Vedius. 24 HP. I didn't think it was possible, man. Made it out. Use of the flash. So much patience.
Give us a replay. That was awesome. Well played there by Joko. Able to get out of that one. I'm actually amazed that he was able to survive. I saw the rest of his team coming out to collapse, maybe get him out of that sticky situation. But let's see, how exactly does he pull this one off? So, this was a big mistake from Joko. He thinks that because he has pressure on bot and mid, he can freely walk into the river and gain vision, not expecting 4 members to collapse upon him. And then he uses his ulti to create a gap between him and Smitty J, and then just as Smitty goes in to get the final hit, the flash comes out from Joko, and Smitty J decides it's not worth committing.
I mean, Smitty J had ult and just thought that tactical sweep would hit.
That's very true.
Also had flash. Did not commit to the play.
Nope, he didn't want to. He saw Turret coming up as well, and the Kalista, he thought that if he overextended, it could result in a much worse fight than initially intended. And I think that he just wanted to take the safe approach.
Yeah, and look, to be fair to H2K, they burned nothing to get Joko's flash, to get his passive. That was completely free for them.
That's very true.
Oh, now Ruin playing the sneaky gangplank game.
It's like you thought that was the real barrel.
Smitty J sees a tasty barrel, sees free 10 gold. Really? What is the game plan here, bud? Okay, gonna run in. Actually doing quite well in the duels. Ahead in items.
Kleptomancy man, even though he's 50 CS down.
Are you kidding me right now?
He's actually ahead in gold. It also helps that they have 2 towers.
They have a 1 tower lead, Vedius.
True.
And he's
Kleptomancy.
Gangplank, dude.
He's really strong.
Yeah, it's
I haven't looked at 8.4 yet, so I don't know if he's been hit
he's
at all
been
next
hit,
patch.
but I don't remember what, because I've also refused to look at the next patch until it's time to cast it. But right now, he's just as strong as ever. You can see why he is a power pick in Europe.
56.9% personal best for Joko in terms of jungle proximity. That is the amount of time that he does spend around his laners. And you can see that his game plan was very much about setting up his bot laner to get an early lead. And they've done that 3-0-0. Now Giants want to be bringing this lead onto the rest of the map. Very strong Kalista, primed and ready to fight. Definitely very strong, and they found Sheriff.
Not scared whatsoever. Trading the ult for nothing. Absolutely what Giants like is these little advantages, because they already have a big fat gold lead, 3K at 20 minutes along with the double Drakes, the extra tower, looking to make it a third, looking to extend this lead. Vedius, this is incredibly one-sided thus far. H2K had been looking on the up and up in a lot of ways.
I mean, they took down Vitality last week.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people thought that this was it. H2K, with the return of Shook to the LCS combined with Selfie, they would be enough. But if you don't go anywhere near that lane and instead you attack the other parts, turns out that H2K still have exploitable weaknesses. Giants, they shut down Sheriff and Promiscu in the early game.
And it's tough, right? Because you want to shut down the Kalista, but also if you make a single mistake against her, she just gets that early lead. She pushes all those lanes out. She's absolutely unstoppable. 2-item spike for the Kalista, one of the most terrifying points for this champion to be at. And you can see Selfie not even going to approach the tower. Not worth the risk.
Things aren't completely dire for H2K just yet. They still have the scaling aspect of Corki. I feel like in the late game, Xayah will still be able to output a lot of damage. And Camille should still do fine in the 1 versus 1. Perhaps in the late game, once Gangplank has the 3 items, she will not be able to win out on that 1 versus 1. I've seen many Gangplanks been able to outduel the Camille. But you've got to look at a team fight value too. The ability to lock down these pretty mobile carries in like the Kalista and the Azir, and then quickly burst them out. It's still a strategy that H2K can look to play around.
Tough, though. A lot of executional prowess going to come down. They want to win out that way. I mean, the good news is, if at any point in the game, Azir steps into the wrong place, he will get two-shot by a Corki and Azir. Or a Camille. Now, however, if you're Giants, this has to feel pretty good. Confidence in the early game. This is a team that's a little bit below you, significantly below you in the standings, and you want to keep it that way.
It's true.
Playoffs are incredibly important, and the thing I think we always have to remind people of is best of one. Like any game lead you think you have is so hard to hold on to. It's not best of 3. There's no clear top. There's no clear bottom. We've talked about this. Giants right now are in the only thing that's clear, which is the middle of the pack.
But they are very close to the top of the pack. And for Giants, I think it's also just like a big confidence boost because they had their 0-2 week. They really kind of got exposed in many ways where it felt like that their big weaknesses were finally exploited. Now H2K did try to go for an engage in mid. This will secure a tower.
So he's going to try to clear the wave. Is going to use his Unstoppable to get out. Passive has been procced, though. Looks like he may just give his life there. TP now comes in for the GP, who's also already committed. The ultimate. Kalista is off to the side. They're trying to use the ultimate. Camille goes immediately onto Steelback. Wants to find a way forward. Gets thrown right back in. Targamas finds the engage. Promiscuous on the backside to try to stop Steelback. Where is the damage for this team? There is absolutely nothing outside of Sheriff. H2K on the retreat there in that exchange.
Now Smitty J, he tried to jump onto Steelback and go for the hard commit. He wasn't able to do it. Now we're seeing the classic Giants decisive play around the Baron. They're going to secure another very early big objective.
Absolutely, they want 23 minutes, 6K gold lead for Giants. Completely uncontested Baron. This is the risk you run when you make aggressive plays against a team so far ahead of you.
But H2K, they had to try. They felt like that their backs were against the wall. The scaling of Azir and Gangplank was something they didn't want to have to deal with. And they tried to force down this mid-tier 1. I think the decision-making was good. Unfortunately, the execution just wasn't quite there. They couldn't get away in time. Giants were primed and ready to go for the fight once more. So you can see Joko, he actually drops very early on. Kalista is nowhere near the fight. And things looking pretty good for H2K right now. And here's the decision-making where things fall apart. Smitty J goes straight onto Steelback alone, who has the Taric ultimate. That means Smitty J has no kill threat onto the AD carry. He gets out-dueled by the very fed Kalista, and he's forced out of the fight very quickly, allowing Giants to go for the chase. Meanwhile, while all that was happening, Betsy and Joko were able to get a kill down onto Selfie, and with him unavailable and no TP at his disposal, Giants secured a very quick Baron.
This is what we talked about. Execution has to be perfect from H2K if they want a way to come back. They don't have the burst damage to kill a Kalista if they go in one at a time. If Smitty J is the only one trying to force the fight there. But now for Giants, it's the easy siege, man. They've got all the pressure. Everything seems to be going in their favor. And we saw this exact same situation in the previous game, Vedius, where Corki just does not have enough wave clear to deal with this Baron buff. And Sheriff no longer has an ult, which means it gets easier and easier to dive this tower. Tark's gonna have the ult. This is the dream tower dive scenario. You have a Zac, you have a Taric, you have a Kalista, you can reset tower aggro.
There's the combo once again. Joko with the Taric Sun going on the
Shook
shook.
on the hunt. Gangplank throws down the ultimate, but Giants gonna back off. They curb the aggression. They wipe the blood from their eyes. They set their sights on the tower instead.
Smitty J doing his best to answer on the other side of the map, get some gold for his team, but things are kind of falling apart for them. H2K struggling to find a successful fight. With the Baron, they don't have enough wave clear to stop the constant siege coming out from Giants. And they will end up losing all of their outer towers now. Only their base remains.
Now 7K gold difference, absolutely brutal to go up against. Very fast pace of game here for Giants. Found that small advantage early on. Found a few more opportunities to just continue to snowball. Interesting as we check in on the itemization. Smitty J does opt for the Ravenous Hydra. Feels like a full commit to playing in the side lane with that lifesteal, but it does mean that he's going to be so squishy in these team fights.
She wants the damage, right?
Yeah, he wants to be able to kill Steelback, it looks like. Wants to be able to look for the 1v1, but if he's not going for the 1v1. He might want tanky stats instead. Sterik's on the way next. GP has already finished it, going towards the Phantom Dancer, presumably.
You know, crowd, you've gone a little quiet. I must admit, like, Giants are winning. You were very supportive of them earlier on.
Look,
They made a chant for Betsy during the pause.
I mean, clearly they had prepared that chant for Betsy because they love him.
Yes.
No, you made it up on the spot?
Oh, they made it up on the spot.
Innovators.
Right. Well, here we go.
Well, this is a classic. Joko doesn't need to innovate. He just leaps in on the Zac. We'll look to take down the tower. Selfie now running for his life. The crowd ready for another tower kill.
Will H2K go for one last-ditch fight? The Baron has one off. They don't feel confident enough. They want to just try and delay the game as much as they can. So Giants will happily take the inhibitor. They'll steal away all the jungle camps, make their way towards the Drake, and deny H2K as much gold as possible.
Just not enough farm to go around, Vedius. Right now it's Sheriff who's being left behind. SmittyJ and Selfie allowed to stay up with their lane counterparts.
Such a terrifyingly strong AD carry. Steal back. 3.5 items completed. Working towards that Mercurial Scimitar as well. Once he completes it, it's going to be even harder for H2K to lock him down. The Rakan Charm, the Sejuani ultimate, not going to be enough. You'd think that with SmittyJ using the ult to try and secure him in place, go for that 1v1, the Taric ulti is just acting as a very effective deterrent.
Yeah, this is the thing. We talked about how much H2K wanted to get ahead. Not only do Giants have great scaling, they have great picks to deny a lot of what H2K want to do. Betsy can push the Camille back, make it pretty easy. Steelback can save his AD carry. AD carry can save Steelback. Joko has a revive passive. There's no real option for the Camille to just cut through somebody instantly.
Yep.
And you don't win the 5v5 if you don't execute perfectly.
I guess now H2K's best opportunity is this Baron that's going to be spawning in a minute 45. Giants, that's what they're waiting for. They don't just want to siege blindly.
Yeah, but anytime you go for a Baron, there is a certain amount of risk, right? So steal it. You group in the pit for even a moment. Sejuani finds a good ult. Sheriff finds a good ult. Promisecue finds a good engage. Maybe that is something that can turn it back. But at this point, it might take a pretty miraculous play to bring it home for H2K.
Well, let's see now. Giants setting up for another siege on the top side. Forky wave clear, much more effective when there isn't a Baron buff to deal with. Giants just playing the patient game for now.
1 minute. Ruin playing the hide in the bush game. Guys, I think we should petition for a European flag to be put in that bush for all future international events. We've seen this already twice today. Got him! Oh. Surprise! An eighth of your health. A little disappointing, actually. Camille's starting to get more tanky. But no IE there for Ruin yet. Will only get more scary.
4 items now finished for Steelback. Always a scary threat. We talked a lot about him. Stepping up for his team.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're H2K right now, you have to feel really uncomfortable about going to clear those waves because there's the Zac Taric combo. Just such an impressive engaged play.
This has got to feel good for Giants. Yet to die. Not quite a perfect game, given that they have lost a couple of towers, but still a very clean game nonetheless. Playing very effectively towards their win conditions.
And honestly, coming in from a really bad week, coming back and
some
showing
analysts
up,
even rating them as the 10th place team in the league.
Some also putting them in their playoff predictions, though, in an attempt to redeem themselves for previous mistakes.
But the point still stands that Giants, from the perspective of many,
last week they were probably the worst performing team in Europe.
For sure.
And this week, they're showing up. They are proving that they belong at least in the middle of the pack and are trying to make a case that they belong at the top. SmittyJ making a case that he belongs in the grave, although he's going to try to make his way out. Tactical sweep will heal him up a little bit. Doesn't look like he's going to get it, though. Oh, hookshot wall dive. Has made it to safety. Targamas, though, he wants to bring it home. Stunned up and taken down. A dazzling finish there.
Now, a lot of resources were used to get that kill, but it should open up Giants to secure the Baron. Shook, eyes will be on him to find a steal or an interrupt.
But you're against a Kalista 2, Vedius. This cannot get any harder for H2K.
Very true.
they have to CC the Callista as they leap into the pit to take it, or she will rend it and take it. And even then, they still have to win the 50-50 smite. And it's... Oh, God, it should not be possible! But can they win the fight in the end? Sheriff's still looking for a little bit more. They're now trying to pull back. The entire team has gone golden. I cannot believe it. Shook.
He did that, wow.
Shook, that should not be possible.
The Shook effect in action.
But still, Giants are on the hunt. They're not giving up quite so easily. Sheriff may still lose his life in the exchange. Gets a bit of a movement speed steroid there. Tries to fire back. Will go down in the end, but that is embarrassing. If you are Steelback, if you are Joko, your pride has to hurt right now.
Wow, that sucks for Giants. H2K doing exactly what they needed to keep their hopes alive. I believe 2, maybe even 3 members will have the Baron buff. No, it is only 2. Spinny J hadn't respawned in time. But Giants, they still have the numbers advantage. They're going to try and siege now onto this tower.
Oh, the last-ditch effort. Spinny J manages to use the stopwatch in time, but it's too little too late. Giants are pushing in. They may just look for the win. 4 members up. Sheriff on the way. Inhibitor is about to be broken. They can look to take the one in the mid lane as well. Giants are so strong, but can H2K find an opportunity to force a fight? Baron should have bought them a bit more time, but they lost too many members in pursuit of the steal. Will only lose 1 inhibitor, however. Probably the best they could have hoped for.
Whew, H2K. So their chances are still... Okay, let's say before they were really bad, now they're below average. I would say their chances are coming back up.
I mean, the later they go, the less the gold means.
So ulti hits onto Rise. Oh, the Rend comes out, Joko's out of the pit, and there was just seemed to be like a miscommunication where Joko was trying to interrupt Shook, and instead he just kind of went over him, and then the Rend comes in and sets up nicely for Shook to get the smite steal.
And now H2K, despite being so far down, are playing pretty confident.
Actually sieging up on towards the base of Giants.
Spinny J's on the bottom side. They may look to get the split push going. This is what their composition wants to do, and despite the deficit, they are unconcerned. Now keep in mind, you do have 3 crit items on Sheriff, so he is going to start to match the strength of Steelback, outscale even, with the extra multiplier that is crit. Similar story for Selfie. Spinny J as well, built to be in that side lane. As long as they don't 5v5, that is, I don't actually feel like H2K are that bad off.
Yeah, because the thing is for Giants now, it's actually really hard for them to just force a 5v5, because there is no Baron objective to try and force. They are just going to group up in the middle lane, and they have their eyes set on this middle inhibitor. This could be the group and force that they're trying to make happen, but Giants still have their top laner.
Giants might be a little bit too late on the back. Selfie is here. Argus actually taking a lot of damage there. Will get pulled in. Suddenly Spinny J on the backside, immediately been on the Betsy. H2K can use her, then she's gone! H2K are immediately firing back. Giants are living as long as they possibly can, but they've gone golden. Steelback could still be the carry for the team. They're starting to cut through. Ruin is coming in clutch. Selfie is running for his life, but you can't beat a pirate with a pistol. Brings it home. Giants managed to keep the fight in their favor.
The initial fight looked so good for H2K, but the moment Ruin joined, everything turned in the favor of Giants. There are now only 3 members alive, and Giants have their eyes set on the Nexus.
Shook trying to buy time. Sheriff trying to hold on. Don't think he can outdeal Steelback, but he does a lot of damage here. Steelback cannot afford to keep tanking auto attacks. Has to flash backwards. Does manage to get the root. 1 tower is down. Joko is dead. Giants need to rally. They're starting to fumble a little bit.
Steelback doing everything that he can to buy time. He's clearing out the minion waves. He's staying alive. And now he may have caught out Steelback. No.
Pulling back. Targamas is going to get taken down. What is happening, H2K? You want to feed us some kills? We're happy to pick it up, they say. Ruin, you did so good, and now you're so dead.
Yeah, he is indeed going to die. He loses the GA.
All right, Betty is what just happened?
Well, we got to backtrack to how that first fight happened, because that's where things really kicked off for H2K, and that's where Giants started to overcommit. So, flank from Spinny J. That's what you got to keep your eyes on. Look at how he jumps onto Betsy, splits up this Giants roster, okay? They blow up Betsy, one of the main damage dealers, and you think, this is a great fight for H2K. Unfortunately, they're playing underneath the Azir tower as well, and then Ruin joins the fight and is able to get the kill onto Selfie. Fortunately for H2K, Sheriff still has some wave clear, and the other important thing is Shook does a really good job of just clearing out the minions and denying that wave from reaching the towers. That means Giants can't get onto the Nexus, and they make the crucial mistake of sticking around too long. They try and push the wave in through bot. They think they can continue on with the 3 versus 3, but H2K end up getting the collapse. They find a bunch of kills, and the stall continues for the H2K squad.
Vedius, I thought this was over. I thought this was done. I thought that Baron would be secured. I thought H2K would be in a shuttle on the way home, but they are not giving up. They are not going home without a fight. And Giants, so bloodthirsty, so blindly hungry for that win. They're willing to take way too many risks.
Now they're grouping up in the top lane. Tension is starting to build, but the wave clear is still available there for H2K. You can see down in the bottom lane, Smitty J doing his best to alleviate some of the pressure. I think Giants, they have to be careful about just going for these blind dives anymore. That gold gap means significantly less compared to what it was before.
And if Azir and Gangplank aren't in position to follow up on the dive immediately, things won't look quite as good. Kalista, very easy for her to get cut down at this point in the game. Can easily outduel Shook. Might be able to go toe-to-toe with Smitty J, but the crit 80 carries are starting to just deal too much damage. Selfie though could be in trouble. This is going to balk to safety. You can see Giants are just grasping at straws at this point. Too hard for them to siege. No Baron for them to empower themselves. 36 seconds away. Maybe that can be their savior.
I definitely think that the probability of 2 steals happening in a row are so low. There's no way Giants would have another Baron stolen from
You just
them.
try to anti-caster, Chris?
Yeah, I am.
Bias. All right.
No, I mean,
No,
what
I know,
I want to see is H2K find the epic comeback. Because I think their comp at this point in the game is much harder to execute. And they've been punishing Giants left, right, and center. Shook has really been the star for me in this game. And now he needs to do it again, though, because this Baron, I think, is going to be so much harder to steal.
This is gone in 5 seconds. The lesser-known Nick Cage film. Oh, Giants, have they even started it? This is the problem. They don't have vision in the pit.
It's a lot of barrels.
Ruin's so confident, he says, I'll even give you 30 gold.
Oh, so Giants actually, rather than go for the Baron, go towards top. H2K.
No, H2K, dude, bad idea, dude.
Are they committing? What are they going to do?
Get out. Get out. Yeah, oh my god. Guys, save him for Deficio. He's going to love that.
Here we go. It started.
Macro. Baron. Fight. Joko, not going to look for the fight. They do try to find the engage immediately, but to the backside. Can they cut through the team before the Targon comes down? They get one. They might be able to find more. Ruin and Steelback are still pushing forward. Sheriff is on the back foot. Can he get anything else? Steelback trying to be a hero to bring home for the team. Ruin and Steelback versus the world. The double kill comes home. TP coming in on the bottom side, folks. The fight is not done. Camille and Selfie are on the hunt.
What a close fight, though. Giants, they still only have 3 members alive, and Selfie is here for H2K. He can buy time as Smitty J goes in for the 1v1.
Has the GA. Wants to get a little bit more. Tactical sweep will be up shortly. Can't look for the secondary precision protocol. Wants to get a bit more. No GA available. Hookshot, wall, dive. Not going to connect the stun. May still be enough. Ruin is in trouble. GA comes up just in time. Steelback's in the middle of everything. Steelback goes down! Not what they needed at all! Smitty J goes over the wall. He's now hunting for Joko as well. They are so confident in this. You can see Veteran waiting with bated breath. He wants a little bit more. Ruin, will he be able to take it down? Smitty J still needs it. Still gets it.
And H2K keep the game going. They find another successful stall. And they continue to buy time. Giants are fumbling in these fights. They are failing to secure a significant advantage. And now they need to take a breather.
And now for the 40-minute in-game interlude. Vedius will be performing a traditional Welsh dance.
Will I?
As we diagnose the pause. Well, you're not on camera, so you can just tell people. Oh, Vedius, you look so good. What a great traditional Welsh dance. Oh, so fantastic.
You're welcome.
Sorry if you guys missed it. It's an experience for the in-house audio. Of course, League officials are investigating the pause, as you can see on screen, so we will update you guys. We did not pause for a traditional Welsh dance.
That is not the reason.
It was just a bonus. I was trying to milk it, you know? Get what I could.
But this is great for H2K, right? They've really successfully been able to stall this game out. And I
let's look at it because like
Oh yeah, we have a replay.
we have the
Perfect,
replays.
perfect. Let's do that.
Let's talk about it because a lot of stuff has happened in the last minute or two.
So look at the selfie package here, right? How he divides up the team from Giants. Because Steelback, he's forced on the back foot to just focus down on Shook, and Selfie's just healing damage onto both Betsy and Targamas. At this point, you think, oh, they've won the fight, but no. Because H2K are forced to spread apart in that choke point just outside of the blue buff. That means that Steelback is free to go to town. He ends up cleaning up a bunch of kills, and then again, Giants overcommit. They secure the inhibitor, and at this point, they just need to run away. They need to back off. But Ruin sticks around. He tries to go for the 1v1. He knows his team is on his way, and he thinks he can take it. But this was just another overextension from the Giants top laner.
I mean, you have to respect the Corki scaling. Absolutely do. Steelback dives, unfortunately, right into the face of the enemy team. And it takes a little bit, but SmittyJ does end up finding the second precision protocol proc. Of course, everything turned into true damage, makes it pretty easy to bring home those kills in the duels. And now, Vedius.
I mean, I just want to take it. So the gold gap is 5k, but that doesn't really mean anything at this point because everyone is pretty much at full builds except for SmittyJ, who is only an item behind right now.
This is, and honestly, I feel like the biggest thing right now is I feel like, one, it's incredibly close. I feel like we talked earlier that the scaling's still in favor of Giants because they have the Gangplank.
And the Azir.
And the Azir.
But Corki's always that late game threat, right? Like, if it, and it very much came down to what you said multiple times is late game team fight execution. We didn't make a big deal about it because Giants had such a massive lead.
Yeah.
But then the moment the Baron was stolen, H2K had an opportunity to win out from these fights. And when you look at how each fight has gone, it goes, oh, H2K got 1 kill in this last fight. H2K get 2 kills. And now they've just secured themselves 4 kills, even in an extended fight, even after losing their bottom inhibitor.
Yeah. Hearing a lot of Betsy Steelback in the crowd. Of course, league officials have confirmed that we will be playing through. There was no issue. And now they're screaming just very many names of Giants players. Fun fact, guys, for those wondering, apparently, if you're looking to play Tark like Targamas, maybe we'll have a guide at some point, you get a redemption, and then you turn your tier into a mana-mune.
Oh,
so that when people forget about you in team fights, you kill everybody.
He does a lot of damage, by the way. He really does. And given how often he spams spells, it's actually surprisingly easy to stack up. Good spot there, Dracos. But let's get back into game.
Okay, so
has been resolved.
Let's be clear here. Execution is everything now at this point in the game.
No.
This
Of course, 2 members of Giants are dead.
What? And they're not even trying.
That's a free Baron for H2K.
Are we going to see a team with a 3-0 Callista lose a game?
Well,
now
the game's not over yet.
Callista?
It's been so back and forth.
Oh, SmittyJ, this might be the pick that they want. Going to try to be unstoppable. Resurrect, could get the hook shot wall. I think he's done so, though. Yeah, just going to get kidnapped. Goodbye.
So now Giants have a numbers advantage. Even though H2K have the Baron, they're going to do their best to push out these waves to make it as difficult as possible. But Giants are setting themselves up nicely to secure the Elder Drake, where they can then look to force a fight. And surely with that buff, they can't lose a fight.
4 dragons. Extra Infernal, bit of extra Ocean, some extra Cloud, and most importantly, a lot of true damage. Like a lot.
Like a lot.
Like a lot.
They got to secure it. Will Shook play spoiler again?
I wanted to talk more about how much it was, Vedius. It's a lot. Want to see if they'll get it? And they are.
Yep.
No point risking the 4v5, no point risking the contest. They can hold on with the Baron buff. But this is going to be about 2 minutes where they do not want to take a fight.
So both buffs should run out at around the same time, given that H2K only have about 2.5 minutes left, but they're just using this to stall. As you can see across the board, many GAs have been picked up on the side of H2K. Will make these extended fights a little bit harder for Giants, but positioning is going to be key. It's all about execution in these late game. Who are the targets that need to die? Well, Betsy's definitely one of them. H2K want to try and shut him down as fast as possible. Selfie is the other. But with the mobility on the Corki, with the fact that he's likely going to have a package as well, it's challenging, it's tough. But it's the same for the Azir. So those are the 2 targets you're going to have to watch in these next few fights. One bad misplay, one good outplay from either team, could swing the fight in the favor as these two carries look to be the stars that can bring their team the win.
And Giants wants to siege down the mid lane, but they don't have a lot of vision on their flanks. You can see there's a ward currently behind Ruin. There's an option for SmittyJ or Selfie to TP in and look for the flank. Flanks are what helped the fights the last few times for H2K. So Giants, be really careful here. Joker wants to go in. They are going to back out. Stun not going to connect. That's good news for the team for now. Forces them back for at least a few more seconds. Every time an engage fails, a little bit more time wears off of these buffs, but still have to give up the inhibitor in the end.
Look at that poke, though, from Betsy. With the Elder Drake, it really does shred through Sheriff. Ended up losing like half his HP in a single hit. Definitely a scary target. Void Staff finished as well. The best they can do is hide in their base, just stall. Keep the wave clear going. Gold is effectively meaningless.
Ooh, Tarek is one stack from Muramana. Zoom in, give it to us. He has, wait, cast a spell. We can't see because the scoreboard is down. Muramana. Look at the glow. Look at the power.
He's ready. Dude, he's
Actually going to do a lot of damage, guys.
Oh, he will.
He has a built-in attack speed steroid in his kid and a lot of mana.
But so does Selfie.
Yeah, not as much as this 6-item Corki, though, as it turns out. But like a lot for a Tarek.
He'll be able to heal that up pretty quickly. Elder Dragon going to be wearing off, along with the Baron buff too.
Now we play the Bush game.
I mean, Baron becomes the next big objective, but it's tough, man. Because like this game has been very unpredictable, and at this point, it's kind of hard to guess how it'll happen.
I mean, to be fair, this game was really exciting at the start. And
I mean, it's very clean for
we're like,
Giants. They were like 5-0.
Clean, lose a Baron, everything falls apart.
Yeah, literally that. It's just like, okay, Giants playing well to their win condition.
And I mean, this is the thrill. When
you
you look
League
at
of Legends.
This is what we talk about when we look at the standings. We talk about EU LCS being so unpredictable. 2 weeks ago, if you had told me that H2K were going to do any of this, I would have called you a fool. And now, I'm just impressed. They're performing incredibly well to turn this game around.
All shook, man. He has made multiple plays to save his team. A lot of vision control from H2K in the topside river. Here we go now. 8 Giants grouping up with a big minion wave.
Who's going to find the fight here? Fighting this choke could be really risky. SmittyJ really wants to flank, but there's no tank line here on the front. Tarek has to be ready with that ultimate. Quick finger on the Radiance. Looking to siege in on the tower. Ruin does not care. Will lose half of his health for not caring.
That will also proc his Starix gauge, which is going to be huge in the next fight. H2K feel pretty confident now. Is there any wards for SmittyJ to TP to? No.
Have to be careful about using all their gap closures, though. Very easy for Zach to turn this one around. He is now looking for the engage on the opposite side of the wall. Yeah, he's just playing footsies.
Yep.
I mean,
they're scared, right? One bad fight could literally cost you the whole game.
this is the neutral game, Thaddeus.
Yes.
Two teams waiting for either one of them to make a single mistake so they can go for that huge whiff punish.
And trying to make the play is so much scarier than just waiting for the enemy team to do something. But at the same time, if you don't do anything, right now Giants have control over the map. So they could secure the Baron, and it makes doing things that much easier.
And I'm going to be honest, Thaddeus, it's a long time since I've seen a 6-item Camille, so I won't be surprised if someone gets 2-shot. I also won't be surprised if she gets 2-shot. This is a game that's balanced on single decisions and individual plays. One good engage from Joko, one good engage from Shook, a good flank from SmittyJ. This entire game can be won. But for either side. Thaddeus, we have a minute till Baron.
Yep.
We have a number of minutes until Elder Dragon.
Yep.
But Baron will be a point that is contested, and it will force these teams into an arena. And we know Giants like the arena. They want H2K to group up. They want them to get hit by those Gangplank barrels, by those Azir soldiers. But if they get picked off in the process, it could be dangerous. Luckily for them, it seems like they have very good vision.
Yeah, vision, it's nice to see that it's still being kept up for the most part. Support sacrificing their last inventory spot to throw down those control wards. We can talk about vision score. 132 on Promiscu. That means that he has put a lot of wards and cleared a lot of wards out, and his wards have done a good job of sticking around on the map. How good these vision scores are, considering how late it is into the game, not entirely sure.
Here comes Joko. Not going to connect. H2K going to look for a bit of punish here. Still can't afford to walk face first into a GP, however, so we'll back off. And Thaddeus, this is actually both of these teams' longest game thus far this season. So if you were wondering if you could look up what the track record was for Giants and H2K ultra late game decision making, there is not one. And now it looks like we may still have a fight. Smitty J actually has been caught out. We'll try to use the Camille ultimate, but Tarek ult is beautifully timed to keep the fight going. Smitty J still alive, has managed to make it to safety. Neither team actually able to confirm a kill here.
A lot of ultis were used though on both sides. Promiscu still has the engage ready, and he's the man you've got to watch, because he'll be looking to try and catch an unsuspecting target off guard. But instead, they're actually just going to go for the back.
Straight for Baron. They cut through quite quickly. Smitty J just going to try to leap out. How low is that Baron? Are they going to be able to get it? 3K, Joko's in the pit, going to come down to the smite battle. They just want to start the fight. They are going to pull back. Still trying to peel for the team. So much damage down on the Promiscu. Smitty J wants to flake. Sheriff going to try to find the engage. Steal back actually so low. Will heal up a decent amount. Both teams just poking at each other. No one can find the edge, but they're on the nice edge right now, Vedius.
But Giants are pinging in the middle lane because they know that there is a wave pushing in their favor. And H2K, they want to go top. Look at that big stack.
Oh, who is going to get it? This should be impossible to steal, but Shook has done it before. This should be impossible. This could not happen again. Can they find the steal? Shook is in the middle of the pit. Can they get it? Kalista gets it in the end. H2K, now they're running for their life. Suddenly, Steelback is in control, and he is on the hunt. The team retreats. Baron buff in the favor of Giants. Will it be enough to end the game?
Oh my word, Giants, they're just going to run it down mid. There is a huge minion wave in bot. There is stacking minions in mid. The jungler is gone for H2K. And Giants should be set to end the game. But my word, Steelback came up huge at the very end there. Joko being out of the pit, nearly missing the smite. That was literally on a knife's edge.
Could have been anything. Kalista brings it home, though. Manages to get it. Now there's going to be the slow siege down. They're using the Tarek ultimate. They got 2.5 seconds to cut through the base, and it looks like it may just be enough time. But suddenly the fight is starting to break out. They're looking for a chance to bring this one back. Betsy's in the middle of everybody, and he's not going to get taken down quite yet. Sheriff wants to redeem himself. Selfie pushing in. Ruin going to get down. It's traded. Targamas wants to bring it home. I don't know if he can. Are you kidding me? Who is going to end the game? Targamas wants to bring it in. Ruin goes down. What is this? Oh my God, H2K, that is fucking beautiful!
H2K do the base defense once again! Oh my God, look, they actually have such long death time.
No.
Selfie team to the top lane.
No, you can't do this. This is how you break a human being. You put them on the edge like this,
Oh
and you
God,
take
he's
it away.
going to do it.
H2K.
Selfie. The onus was on the rookies. Sheriff was the guy.
Vedius.
Behind with Selfie. Are they actually going to end the game?
I cannot believe it. They have the wave. They're base racing against the creeps, though. Will they lose to PvE? Selfie is on the way.
Look at the death time is still so long for Giants.
He's clearing it out.
He's going to do it. He's going to do it.
Selfie, one man. Take your hands off the keyboard, bud. You don't even need it. You bring it home. H2K!
It was all but done. Giants had the Nexus in their sights. It was exposed. And they could not end the game. My word. That final team fight from H2K. I thought that was it. I thought it was done.
I'm literally shaking, Vedius. I cannot believe it, dude. I cannot, that is insane. That was a beautiful fight. A beautiful punish. I thought the Cosmic Radiance, I thought it was done. I thought that was the death sentence. 2.5 seconds of being untouched. I thought it would be enough for Giants. And it was not.
And H2K, oh my word, in terms of the standings, this is such a big win for them. It was not a clean game. It was not good League of Legends. It was just so many hero plays. Shook with the steal,
But
Selfie with the late game fight, Sheriff coming up huge.
and that's all you can do. Look, early mistakes put H2K behind. And it was individual outplays and punishes that brought it home. And I've been told we have a replay. And
Let's look at it.
Yes.
Let's look.
Now, I don't remember a lot about what happened here other than people died.
So, the first target to fall. Okay, so Targamas actually uses his ultimate extremely early on. Selfie gets chunked out. And I'm looking, oh my word,
Promiscu. Look at
look at the
Promiscu.
damage onto Betsy. You can see Betty gets chunked out extremely low. This is a 4v5, remember that. Promiscu dies instantly. Sheriff gets taken super low. Doesn't have the GA either. But both him and Selfie are just doing their best. And
oh my god, Sheriff.
Oh my words. He set that up perfectly. Even with so many Baron-empowered minions in his face, he was still able to see the position of his feathers. He flashes. I didn't even notice he got a quadra kill. Wow. That's why you trust the rookies, man. When it matters, they come up big. Fantastic performance from him.
Wow. Wow,
Whew.
folks.
What a game.
Wow. Look,
that was a treat.
literally struggling to keep it together, if I'm honest. This is, that was an insane...
By every metric,
Look,
Giants should have won that game.
At 20 minutes, this is donezo. That was the first thing. 23 minutes, they got a Baron.
Yeah. It was... oh, that was insane. That was such very, very fun game. Very fun game to watch.
Absolutely. Well, our analysts have narrowed it down to Selfie, Smitty J, and Sheriff in the fight for player of the game. And a close fight, I imagine it will be. You can head over to @LO Esports on Twitter, where you can vote for your favorite.
I'm sorry, but mine has to be Sheriff.
Dude,
no, it has to be Sheriff. He stole that first Baron that started everything. That, for me, was the key that enabled H2K to make the comeback happen. Yes, there were a lot of individual great plays, and you could give it to any one of them, but for me, Shook was my MVP.
We're going to get a chance to talk about it for weeks to come. But for now, when we come back, it's going to be Schalke facing off against Splice, followed by G2 versus Fnatic in our match of the week. And as we go to break, tickets for the spring finals in Copenhagen are on sale, and one man that's definitely ready for the event is Martin DeFicio Lunga.
Det handler om arven, hvor forfædres ære, de ofre, der smede vores land. Det handler om Valhalla, krigene kæmpet, kysterne raided. Det handler om den lidenskab og det engagement, vi dedikerer hver dag. Det handler om blodet, sveden, tårne for arven i vores store nation.